Okay, we are live. We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All Things Good podcast. I am your host, Jovanna, and today we are going to be discussing the topic of seeing the divine in everything. And so, if you don't know, I am a coach, a poet, a mental health advocate, and I have a podcast, and this is going to be the first time that I actually do something live. Actually, it's going to be my second time. I haven't done a live in a very, very long time, and I figured I would just challenge myself to begin to host live podcast episodes here on Instagram. So, if this is something that you are interested in, maybe you just want to be a part of the episode, you want to be a guest on a future episode, then let me know because we can talk about it. We can talk about coming on here and being a guest. So today we're going to be talking to Focus Frqncy. And before he even comes on, I would like to give a brief introduction of who he is. So Focus Frqncy is a conscious hip hop artist born and raised in Passaic, New Jersey. That is my hometown. If you do not know, Passaic, New Jersey is my hometown. It is a small town up north. And yes, so he is a hip hop artist born and raised in Passaic, New Jersey, whose music resonates with raw authenticity and thought-provoking lyrics. Focus transcends traditional boundaries, offering listeners both insight and inspiration. His sound blends smooth, reflective beats with intricate wordplay, making every track not just a song, but a journey into deeper thoughts. Hello, William. Um, so today we're going to be talking about seeing the divine. And if you don't know, again, my name is Jovanna. I am the host of All Things Good podcast. So Focus Frqncy, growing up in downtown Passaic, exposed Focus to things no child should witness, from poverty, drugs, and at times violence. Young Focus always knew the street life would not dictate his future. At the start of his music career, Focus was known as Focus Forever. However, as he delved deeper into his own consciousness, he felt the need to present himself in a way that reflected his evolving spirit. As a declaration of his newfound self-awareness and growth, he embraced the name Focus Frqncy. So I'm going to go ahead and invite him on into the episode. So Focus, you're gonna have to request to join so I can let you in. Also, if you are on the live, can you hear me? Because I want to make sure that my microphone is working. You there, Focus? Hello.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? How are you today?
Good. How you doing?
Awesome, awesome. I'm excited to have you on. I gave a little brief introduction on what we've been discussing today. So what's going on in your world? Tell us what's going on.
There's a lot of things going on. Hold on. Let me fix this camera real quick
Okay.
so y'all can see my how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. That's how I'm feeling today.
Okay, with the hair, okay.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Nice to see you, Jovanna.
Nice to see you as well. Thank you so much for
It's
being
been
part
a, it's been a long time. It's cool to interact with you once again. It's been like how long? Like almost 20 years. Probably
of
more than that.
mine.
20. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad to have you on for sure. So now you mentioned that you wanted to announce something. Do you want to save that for a little later as we get deeper into the discussion?
Yeah, that I'm gonna save that for the end of the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Okay, cool. So we're talking about seeing the divine in everything. First and foremost, before we even get into the discussion, what is the divine to you? I want our listeners to have an understanding of what the divine actually means.
Well, I like to give my own meanings to it. Like divine to me is basically a characteristic of God.
Okay.
It's the way you operate. You know, so the divine could be good, it could be bad. I feel like everyone is divine in their own right. You know,
Right.
it we all have free will, and we understand that.
Right.
So we have to respect each other's way of being, and
Right.
that's like when you open yourself up and start respecting someone else's divine being, whether it's good or bad, or you accept it or you don't. Um, you step into a whole new way of thinking, a different perspective, you
Right.
know, instead of being like so judgmental and so quick to like, so just so quick to judge somebody and
Yeah.
not knowing their story. You don't know what they've been through to be the way they are. You know what I'm saying? So I think everyone has their own divine right, and that's the beauty of the divine, that there's no judgment. It's pure, it's neutral,
Mhm.
and to me it's the closest thing to God.
Right.
you know
So, in
it's
essence, you're saying when we look at someone, we should be able to see the God in this specific person.
right. Somewhere deep down is there, even if they're not like expressing it at the time. It's there, and people go through traumas, people go through things, and once you start unlocking that, that's when you tap into the divine.
Right. Right. And I think that's the challenge is really just unlocking that point of view. So when you talk about seeing the divine in everything, how do you begin to practice that on a day-to-day life? Like, can you give us some examples?
Well, I can only speak from experience,
Hmm.
things that I've been through. My way of practicing was mantras, like daily mantras, when you're um, basically like speaking positivity into your life. Telling yourself that you're great and that you're beautiful. Telling yourself that you're loving, you're caring, you're vibrant. If you tell yourself this every day,
Hmm.
as soon as you wake up, I promise you, your life will change dramatically, like in 30 days. Honestly, that's how I feel about it. It's that powerful. Um, I just believe that the that's how you reprogram your subconscious mind, you know,
Okay.
by
Okay.
repeating
So,
good things into your life.
right. Okay. So, can you give me an example? Like, let's say, for instance, I'm going to give you a scenario. It's going to be a made-up scenario. So, I'm going through a challenge where um, there's a specific hurdle, and I'm looking to overcome this hurdle. What can I do in my day-to-day life to begin to see the divine in that?
Well, it depends. We kind of have to be specific in this, like, what type of hurdle? Like,
Let's say it's a mental hurdle.
okay, so um, if it's definitely a mental hurdle, I could think of is like anxiety.
Hmm.
Like a lot, I feel like a lot of people suffer from that,
Hmm.
and some people don't even know what anxiety means, and they just automatically say they have anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Just because they feel something that's not ordinary or comfortable. Um, Can I break down anxiety a little
Yeah.
bit? Um, I believe from I used to suffer from anxiety. Well, at least I told myself that I suffered from anxiety because I learned that it was a choice. It was a choice to have anxiety. Sometimes you suffer, yeah, you suffer from it, but that feeling that you get of anxiety, that's your higher self, like basically tapping you on your shoulder and telling you, hey, don't forget about me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. You know, when you feel like that, and then that's when you can sit down and really like and have that conversation with your higher self. And some might say, "Oh, you talking to yourself? You're fucking crazy." I'm sorry for cursing.
Right.
I'm just very passionate about this. I'm sorry. Um, you know, you're really not like. I feel like conversations with yourself is very important. You know, you got to build that relationship with yourself. You
Right.
have to. You will never ever be able to have a functionable relationship if you don't have a relationship with yourself first. You know, so the anxiety is self-inflicted. That's my opinion. I might ruffle some feathers, but I'm not here to I'm not here to like make everything sound cute and all that.
Right.
But I believe it's a choice. So once you just tell yourself, I don't want to feel like this no more, you know, um,
Right.
that's the first step. Right there, you're already stepping into a higher frequency just because you said you don't want to feel like this no more versus saying, I just have anxiety,
Right.
you know? So once you switch that, it's a game changer. It changed for me. You know, I feel like a lot of artists suffer from that anxiety. This is the reason why we write music to keep us away from that feeling, you know, we find that comfort,
I
you
agree.
know, speaking for other artists as well. But that works for me. But all right, so the question, let's get back. Me just breaking down anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
mental okay, mental hurdle. So seeing the divine in the mental hurdle would be basically like when you hear those thoughts in your mind, because anxiety is like a whole bunch of thoughts and it's a crazy feeling. Um, when you hear those, listen, pay attention, pay attention to those thoughts, right? And then ask yourself, is it serving you?
Right.
And right there, you're gonna tell yourself, no, this is not it. You know, if you're being real with yourself, you're gonna tell yourself that. So that's when it all that's the beginning. That's when it starts. And then, you know, I personally like to meditate. I like to, you know, to give myself even like 30 seconds just to unwind, you know.
Right.
You know, 30 seconds. You change your whole way of thinking.
I I
Give
definitely.
yourself them 30 seconds. It's cool. It's okay. You know? Like don't put so much pressure on yourself. You
It's true
know?
because honestly, me myself, I mean, coming from a very religious background, like if you only prayed 5 minutes, then it was like, what are you doing? Are you really seeking God? But coming into a new mindset in a new place, I'm just like seeing the divine for me, if I can share, is in everything that I do, from the moment I wake up to me going to the gym, to me brushing my teeth, to me taking a shower. It's just a moment of meditation where I'm actually being present, acknowledging where I'm at, what I'm feeling, what I'm doing, and not because a lot of us we're on autopilot. We don't even realize the things that we're doing. We're not aware. We're going to work. We're going about our day to day life. We're moving. Sometimes we zone out at the traffic light. Sometimes we're driving and we don't even know how did we even get here. You know those little moments. I've been through those moments many times. I'm like, what the
Mhm.
hell? Was that a red light? Was that did I just like pass the red light?
You
So
know that you go into a meditative state. That's why it goes from point A to point B. It might seem like 2 minutes. It was like 30-minute ride.
Mm-hmm.
It might seem like 2 minutes though, because you went into that meditate. You
Right.
basically with your mind, what you do there is you controlling time.
Right.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that at all. I didn't think about that.
yeah,
But
I've experienced that. Yeah, many
yeah,
times.
it's just like you said, even if it's 30 seconds, even if it's a minute, whatever the case might be, I feel like coming into that place of really just practicing presence, practicing self awareness can really begin to change and shift that anxiety. Because for me, how I see it, and not to put my daughter on blast, she's in the other room, right? I don't want her to hear this. But she gets very anxious.
Yeah,
And what I see in my mind is just all the possible outcomes that she's projecting, and it's like, whoa, whoa, just slow down, like just breathe, you know.
yeah,
And so, but I look at that, and I look at where I used to be, because I was very, very like angry. Just you couldn't talk to me about anything because I already had an attitude. I don't know if you remember that side of me.
of course I do. Of course I do. Yeah,
I'm not the same person. But
that's cool. That's
but
good.
she's picked that up, and I'm just like, just seeing those moments where I'm just like, relax, just try to practice your presence, try to practice your breath, try to practice actually paying attention to what's going on and get out of the mind.
Right,
And I think that a lot of the times people think that whatever thought comes to us is actually accurate, but it's not. Just because we think it doesn't mean that it's actually true.
right, exactly, exactly. But the more you think of it, it could become the truth.
Hmm.
It tricks you. You get that's something that we have to be aware of. Because if you
Right.
keep telling yourself a lie, something that's not real, you bring it into life. You're bringing that energy to life.
So can you explain that a bit further for people who don't understand that?
Um, well, the more you tell yourself that you're no good or you're not gonna find the love of your life and you don't believe in love and you tell yourself these things because of what you've been through, like you actually setting yourself up for that exactly. Like you're bringing that energy
Mm-hmm.
into your life.
So would you
Um,
say it's like a programming, almost like?
yeah. So again, that's why the mantras are so important. Like you telling yourself how great you are every day. It's not. People might call it like selfish or whatever, or a lot of people won't be able to handle that confidence. That's
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of people. You're gonna lose a lot of friends when you become this aware of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna, because when I wasn't aware, I was attracting what I was, which is the unaware, because I was unaware. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm attracted towards everyone that's unaware. So everyone that's coming to me is unaware, just like me. Then once I became aware and started becoming conscious, certain things were changing.
Right.
You know, those people are not in your life as much. Like it's a separation, but there is no separation. There's no such thing as separation. But we're gonna get to that. I lost where I was talking again. I lost it. I lost it because
You
I'm
were saying
like trying to go off the top. I wrote a lot of things, but I like to go off
right.
the top. But basically, you should speak good to yourself. Speak greatness into your life, and it's gonna come. You know?
Right. Can you talk more about the programming too? Because I feel like, I mean, again, this to me is, I want to say I'm 3 years deep into the transition of where we truly are being awake, right?
Mm,
Um, Realizing the programming that is so embedded within our mindsets. I mean, from the very, very beginning. And so, like, whether it's poverty mindset, whether it's anger, whether it's, there's so many different programmings that are out there. When we begin to renew that programming and begin to change the frequency, change the channel, begin to do, reset, it really is like it's a struggle. It's a
Right.
struggle to do that. And so, how does someone give themselves grace? Because in that transition, there's going to be a lot of good, but there's also going to be a lot of bad moments, right? Where you're trying to get to a specific level, but you're still operating, you're still functioning from the old programming, right?
Right.
But
It's
then
like
there's
it's
the in between, like I'm
yeah.
doing it for men. There's still an old part of me that's responding this way. How does someone give themselves grace in those areas, in those moments?
Um. All right. It's painful. When you do that transition, you're gonna feel all the pain. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt inside, um like because it's not just spiritually, it's physically, it's
Mm-hmm.
mentally, it's everything, you know.
It's all
Um,
connected.
so it affects you for the first, you know, 30 days. I would say give yourself 90 days. It's you're gonna go through a lot of pain, a lot of crying, a lot of shedding. Um, Forgive yourself. Show Give grace to yourself because it's not your fault. It's not your fault. We was born into this world. We was born into the system. Our parents didn't really understand the system and the program. They were already programmed, you know. So when we came in, they just teaching us the program. Breaking out of it, it's not a lot of people are fit for that, you know. And I question myself sometimes because I'm still going through it. I didn't fully transition yet. You know, I'm still going through the transition.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a lot of shedding. There's still a lot of healing. There's still so much that I have to do to get to that level that we're talking about.
Right.
You know, so I'm not even close, to be honest. But I know I'm in the right direction.
Right.
You know, I know I am. And just forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Show that grace. It's truly, like really, truly, like it's okay. Like you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
all good. It's
Right.
all good. No matter what, because the when tough times happen, it's basically realigning you to where you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to go.
Right.
So that's one way of looking at the divinity and the negativity and the traumas and stuff.
Right. Saying that everything happens for a reason. Right.
Right. Basically, yeah. It's there. It's telling you. If it didn't work out for you, there's something better out there for you. And I know that for sure. You know what I'm saying?
You mentioned that you know that you're going in the right direction. And, sometimes a lot of people find that hard to see. Um, am I in the right place? Am I making the right decisions, even when they feel completely wrong? Especially when, so for me personally, I had to disconnect from a couple of people that I was no longer resonating with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, the decisions that I was making didn't seem correct to me, right? They seemed because they were so abnormal. I was challenging myself to disconnect from the people that I came to Florida with, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, talking about 10, almost 11 years now, I've been down here. Suddenly I decide that I'm going to disconnect and just go solo. Like, it's just going to be me and my daughter. So, me thinking to myself, are these the right decisions? Am I making the right decisions? But I personally knew that I was in the right place because I seen the divine, I seen God, I seen his hand, I seen things moving when before they weren't moving. And so when we talk about knowing that you're going in the right direction, I think it's important to notice the signs, to pay attention to those signs. You know, is this something that's I'm looking for? Like, what sign should we be looking for? That's the question I'm looking for. What sign should we be looking for to know that we are going in the right direction?
I would say when you when you can honestly tell yourself, yo, I'm happy,
Mm,
no matter the circumstance. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you're going through, you know, and you could truly just tell yourself that you're happy, no
right.
matter what. Like, because you made that choice. Like, yeah, like I feel like hap- when you find yourself at your highest joy, that's like when you know you're in the right direction. You know?
I agree. I agree. I think another one is peace.
Yes.
I know that, you know,
Yes.
peace is not something like there's always going to be something going on outside of us,
Hmm.
but just having that peace within us.
Hmm.
Because, like, for me personally, it was like, I feel so much peace. Like, I know
That's
that I made the right decision because there's no more drama. There's, you know, I'm not struggling as much. And even though struggle is part of the journey, right? But I was handling it so well. And I think peace is a major, major one when it comes to seeing the divine in everything.
right.
You know, to see that you are actually in the right direction.
Right. Right. Yeah. Peace. When I remember the time when I felt that peacefulness, right? And damn, wow, this was like it was like a big moment for me, right? It was something I've never experienced. It was like when I finally reached that peacefulness in my heart, like I actually felt something in my heart. Like
Mm,
it was like something like opened. It's like literally, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? What's going on? Is this like I thought I was getting sick or something. I was nervous. But I
wow.
remember the reason why I knew it wasn't that was because I set my intentions during this meditation, and it was a heart chakra, and when it opened, when I felt that, and I felt that love, like oh man, that was like, and that was I couldn't. If somebody else is looking at me, if they know my story, they gonna in their mind they're gonna think that I'm not happy
Right.
because of my life situation at that time. But I was the happiest. Yeah, I finally like fell in love with myself,
Mm,
you know, and
yeah.
that was huge. I'll never forget that. That's something I will never forget.
I think I mean, I'm not going to say joy and happiness is not important, but like William mentioned in the group, he stated that peace is underrated. And I think it is. And I think that often we're looking for it in other people. Oh, I want you to be my peace, right? The men say to the women, I want you to be my peace. And,
Yeah, right. Which piece?
but
Which
in
piece?
reality, it's like,
What,
dude,
a piece of what?
right?
Which
Like,
one?
first of all, are you even at peace with yourself? Let's
Right,
ask that question first. Because if you're
right.
not at peace with yourself, then how the heck can I bring like I mean, I can create an atmosphere of peace. And my atmosphere of peace can show you that you're a bit in your chaos, right? Like you need to settle down a bit, right?
Mm,
But the peace definitely needs to start within us.
mm,
And when people begin to trigger that peace, it's like, okay,
mm,
let's just. I honestly, well, we're speaking real, right? Because we're talking
mm,
about just recently. I had someone really. It was a female. I have never had an. I've no focus frequency. You know, when I was in high school, I used to fight,
mm.
and I really am not that same person anymore. But this one person really triggered me, and I'm just like, girl, like we're not in high school anymore.
Yeah.
Like, are we really doing this? And I'm so strong on my boundaries, on my peace, that the minute that you start acting crazy, like we're not doing it. So
Mhm.
my peace to me is so important because I haven't felt this peace in so long, and I'll be damned if anyone ruins it. Like it's just not.
Yeah, that's a test. That's like, all right, let's see how much peace she has.
Mm.
Boom. Like you had to experience that to see if you really about this life, the transition that you went through. So it's
I
like,
think another point is because honestly, I responded in a way that I'm not too proud of, but
so you
I
failed the
genuinely.
test.
Let's just be real. Hold on. But at the same time, I was a people pleaser. I allowed people to,
Mhm.
when I went into my Christian walk, I became a people pleaser. I allowed people to speak to me the way they spoke to me, and I just sucked it up. So
Right.
honestly, I feel like it was a test, and I'm gonna say I passed because I could have easily been like, it's okay. Like let's make it work,
Okay.
or it could have been like, we're not doing this, like,
Right.
so I personally think I passed, so
Okay. Okay.
that's my personal opinion.
Okay. That's cool. I
But
I failed many times. I'm not afraid to admit it.
right.
I failed recently, yesterday. Like, it's. I feel like every day is it's a challenge.
It is.
It's a challenge. Like we're human. We all there's mistakes are gonna happen, and
Mm-hmm.
if the thing is like mistakes are so important. Like especially like when you're at a peaceful place in life, and someone takes you out of that a little bit, like you feel well, personally I felt so disappointed in myself, right? And it made me question my divinity.
Mm-hmm.
It made me question, like, oh, all this work that I put in, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, really? So that's when you need to get back to work,
Right.
get back to work on yourself. Don't, like, there's times that that you're gonna slip, and but you got to get back to that work and see what you could have done differently. And
Right.
you know
But let's talk about the other side, because when we talk about seeing the divinity in everything, so in that particular situation for me, at that moment I reacted. When I stepped back, I was just like, okay, what do I have to learn from this, right? First of all, first and foremost, for me, because I'm so hard on myself, like if I mess up, I'm like, why would you do that? Oh, I need so much work. We
yeah.
start to hyper fixate on the bad, right? Instead
Yeah.
of just accepting what is. And it's not about overlooking your flaws or overlooking those areas of healing, but understanding that there are two sides of you, right? We are both light and darkness. And I think to me, that was me accepting that, sometimes you just got to stand on business. Sometimes you really just got to put people in their place, because for me in particular, this person was not someone that I can coexist with.
Right.
How you just have people, and then understanding that as well,
Yeah.
understanding that there are people that are not necessarily people that you can connect with. Some people are just not on your level, right? Like
Yeah,
so.
the people that are not on your level, they're there.
And I don't mean that in a pride way or
No,
ego.
no, no. There's no
That
pride
way.
at all. There's no
Yeah.
pride. In a divinity, again, we're all one. Everyone has divinity. Like we explained that, you know. Um, but I feel as though like pride, like that pride, that's what's gonna make you're gonna fail every single time. Pride is gonna lead you down a bad road,
Right.
So you gotta kind of like, it's okay to speak your mind and be aggressive and let people know and let people have it. It's nothing wrong with that, but there's ways of doing
Right.
it, and you want to keep that peace while you're doing it. You don't want to speak it. You don't want to say something that you're gonna question your divinity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I get it, and it's not easy. It's a everyday. everyday process, you know.
Right.
I don't know if that answers your question.
I mean, yeah, it does. It does. I think, like you said, I think for when it comes to divinity, when it comes to God, when it comes to the spiritual laws, there's, like you said, there's no good, there's no bad. There's just, to me, there's just learning. And
Mhm.
again, I'm not justifying my actions.
Just perspective, you know,
Mm-hmm.
perspective, you know.
Right.
Um,
So, all right. So, what about how can we begin to train ourselves to recognize the divine presence when life feels mundane or repetitive?
um, do different things, you know. Um, you know that term when people be like, just winging it or being spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you have a thought, just go for it. Don't think twice. Do something different. Challenge yourself. You know, these are all ways that we could work and recognize and learn new things about ourselves.
Right.
Um, because if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, every day is like a pattern. You wake up, go to work, you see the same people. Even when you're in traffic, you see the same people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like every day nonstop. It's the same thing over and over again, and it becomes depressing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it really does. Um, Wave at somebody, smile, tell someone they're beautiful, tell someone, oh, I like your hair. Like, if you notice, everyone is just paying attention to one thing, either on their phone or on the road,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but it's all these people, the big network that we have, and we're not even using it. We're using the internet versus the big network that we have right here, right now.
Right.
Like this network right here, you know? This,
Mm-hmm.
the unseen, is works better and faster than the internet, I promise you. Quote me on that. Quote me on that. The internet's algorithm, everything you click on, everything you like, your mind works the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you think of, everything you like, it becomes your life.
Right.
So you have to remember to stay present here, to be present here. Admire the cloud that looks like Donald Trump in the sky. You know, I'm just talking. I had to throw some crazy stuff in, but you look at the. I remember taking long trips and looking at the clouds and oh, that looked like a turtle. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
little things like that. It's like that's you're in touch with nature and you're in touch with the
Yes.
divine. You know, it's like little stupid things like that. And we do it all the time. You know, we don't recognize what we're doing because we're so in this program
Right.
that we're trying to escape. you know, and I feel like little by little we're getting there. I think
Mm-hmm.
that the more people start thinking in different perspective, the world changes that way.
Right.
It's not gonna be all kumbaya. It's just I don't feel like that. I don't feel like we at one point we all have to work with ourselves first. We have to break that spell. We have to break that. Master ourselves first, and then that's when community and tribes come back together like how it used to be, where
Right.
we're operating outside the monetary system or outside the matrix or the TV, the bull crap we hear in the news. Um, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, bullshit. It's not real. You know?
I agree. And I like the fact that you mentioned nature because when I'm like stressed out or when I feel like I need a break or I really just need to ground myself and get some understanding of why I'm so stressed. When I see nature, like when I go to the park or I just observe, I look outside my window and I'll see like a squirrel. Or there's like I have like blue jays and cardinals, and those little things. It's just like that is divine to me.
It's so cool, right?
It is, and it really, and a lot of people think that it's spiritual woo woo, right? But it's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's really looking like, even if you're the most religious person in here, looking at or maybe you a thug on the streets, but if you see that dog or that bird, like analyze it, like you know what I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
really stop to enjoy what you are seeing, what you are witnessing. And those little moments like that, can show you the divinity in every situation. And
Mm-hmm.
not even just that, not even just nature, but really questioning, like, show yourself. Like, show me what I need to learn in this situation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like you said earlier, you mentioned about talking to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. And honestly, I feel like I get so many answers when I do, like when I talk to myself. And it's not like I'm crazy, because I'm not talking to me, I'm talking to God. Like I'm talking to the divine.
Yeah, it's very
And I
helpful.
get so much clarity and so much understanding when I have these conversations. And
Yes.
so I think that, like you mentioning that, it's a good way to really see the divine and begin to train yourself and your mind, your emotions, to really not just see what's in front of you, but see what's beyond that
Right.
situation.
There's so much more. There's so much.
Hmm.
Yeah. I like the way you broke that down.
And
Yeah.
what do you think about spiritual awareness, like awareness, and how important is that?
Oh man, it's so it's the key. It's the key. Like you have to be spiritually aware. If you're not spiritually aware and you're just living in this physical world and you're just like just existing, um, and you're not worried about anything else but this physical world, you're you're only operating from a certain level of thinking. Like um, we have multiple bodies. We have a spiritual body that we have to take care of. We have a physical body, of course, and there's another body. I don't know. You can help me out here. See, I'm still learning, but I know there's an astral body,
Okay.
um, and these are all bodies that are operating right now as we speak. Right? You know, with our two eyes, we can only see a certain percentage.
Right.
I don't know the number. I don't want to sound like I'm super smart. You know, but we can only see a certain percentage, and it's very little. There's probably 80% of the things that we cannot see with our two eyes. If I, don't quote me on that one, but
Right. Okay.
but the number's high. Like dramatically high. So you could only imagine what's not in front of us, what's really in front of us that we can't see.
Right.
You understand? So I think once you start being aware of your spiritual body, um, and I believe that your spiritual body is like it operates in. I believe it operates in the subconscious mind,
Hmm.
your spiritual body, um, and the spiritual, the subconscious mind, um, it it has a different language. It it speaks with shapes, like synchronicities, um, the symbols, trauma.
Mm.
Because the subconscious mind is the darkness that we speak about, the unknown. Like how sometimes we just do things and don't understand why we did it.
Hmm.
9 times out of 10, it was the subconscious mind that did that.
Right.
That's what we have to reprogram
Right.
because we've been programmed with shapes and symbols in school. When we was since we've been little, since we was little. So like TV, radio frequencies, all that, like play a big part in the subconscious world. And being aware of that side is being aware of your spiritual body. And that voice you hear in your head,
Mm-hmm.
like you can hear it, literally, you can hear it. Or if you picture an apple in front of you and you take a bite out of it, you could taste the apple. Like if you get like really sit there and picture the apple, you could picture it, and you could take a bite of it and you could taste it. You know what an apple tastes like. So it's like that memory. That's like that's the spiritual body actually reenacting that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like this is my perspective. I'm not saying that this is what it is. It's just from my um, looking within, like actually looking within. These are the answers that I've been getting,
Right.
and I want to share it. Like I want to share it because I want people to understand, like why you feel certain ways. You ever feel some type walk into a room and you feel like, let me just go this way real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just didn't like that feeling in the
Right.
room. That's your spiritual body, like talking to you. Like that's how it communicates. You know that.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to understand that because a lot of people just overlook it, not knowing that that's God, the divine, speaking to us.
Mm-hmm.
And that self awareness presenting itself, asking us to pay attention. And the more that we cultivate practicing self awareness and paying attention to our intuition and paying attention to our thoughts, our body, our feelings, we can be able to not only see the divine, but hear the divine, participate and co create with the divine. And I think that's important because self awareness, I mean, like you said earlier, it really is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Like we cannot continue to go throughout life, throughout this world, just on autopilot, not really paying attention to what's going around us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Or
I think,
what's going on within,
oh,
not paying attention to what's going on inside.
right,
We forget, sometimes we forget to think about how we feel inside. We ignore it. Like, nah, you gotta show the same love you show your significant other, you should show yourself the same love times 10,
right.
honestly. So you have, if not, then you're not, you really don't love your partner the way you know what I'm saying? If you don't love yourself, you really don't love your partner. And that's just like, it's raw. I'm sorry.
I think also a lot of people have been taught and programmed to ignore our feelings, to ignore our emotions, to ignore.
Especially men. We're
Mm,
supposed to be tough. We're supposed to not show these flaws or even talk about our feelings, or we're not allowed to. You, can you imagine like us in school, like when we were young, like talking about our feelings, like in a whole group of guys? They'll fucking kick you in your head, like tell you to get out of here, that shit. You know what I'm
oh
saying?
my God.
That's the thing. Like I feel like that. I would like to start like a sit down with a whole bunch of guys, and we could talk about mental illness, and we could talk about our anxieties. It'll be like a safe place for men,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of men, they feel like they gotta be super tough and all that tough shit. Like I see through that shit, and I see a little kid in pain. All that tough shit is out the window for me. Like I see you, and I want to hug you and kiss you on your forehead. You could show me all that tough shit. But that's how I really feel. Like I really love my brothers. I really like I love people genuinely. Like I've always been like that. I always show love. I always had a lot of friends, and a lot of people really love me because I was like that. And I
Right.
never judged anyone. I was always just cool with everyone. And that could be a flaw too, you know,
Mm.
because that made me not be aware of myself.
Right.
I was a people's pleaser as well. So
You know,
once
you,
I,
I'm sorry.
yeah, once I started, like, I stopped that. It's like I'm the bad guy,
Right.
but it's okay. I like to be the bad guy. You know
But
what I'm saying?
you see again, the emotions are a key factor to spirituality, and I'm sorry, but religion tells us otherwise, and a lot of you know programming tells us not to pay attention to our emotions. But I'm thinking when you mentioned the programming that men have when it comes to emotions, and it's no wonder why men have a hard time stepping into spirituality or listening to their intuition or listening to, because they've been so programmed and trained to be hard and to put these walls and to put these, um, you know, like it's just walls, which prevents the spirit from really. I'm not gonna say it prevents the spirit because nothing can stop the spirit, but it shuts the spirit down. And so
Well,
you,
it's always there. It's
right,
it's there, but we, like, we'll ignore it. Like, if we ignore it, it's still there. It's
right,
waiting for us. The spirit never shuts down. You know,
right.
it's waiting for us. It's there, but we have to be. We have to pay attention to the language. When the spirit talks to us, and it talks through the wind. Listen to the wind. Listen to your thoughts. Um, the negative thoughts. Well, the negative thoughts is not you. That's not you, because I feel as though when you're born into this world, you're born with peace. You're born with love.
Mm-hmm.
You're born with this. Like, this is naturally. All that fear and all that other stuff. That's the program. That's
Right.
the matrix. That's what I want to talk about. Someone asked,
I think that's what I was gonna get to that next. Hmm.
who's that? Stay fresh styles. The matrix is when we wake up in the morning, we brush our teeth with toothpaste. That's not good for us. Um, we drive into work. Um, it's every day. The mundane. That's the matrix. Um, the news. Everything we hear in the news, politics,
Control.
celebrities,
Hmm.
the storylines, the talking points. That's the matrix. That's what's popular. Whatever's popular, that's the matrix.
Mm.
Um, anything physical, like a physical, what's that word? Um, not
Manifestation.
physical, but basically, like money, cars, jewelry,
Oh, okay. Material.
material. The physical material things, like those. That's part of the matrix. Um, One way to strip yourself from the matrix is just going in the middle of the woods, get lost, and just experience everything. Acknowledge everything that you see in front of you. Turn your phone off. The phone is the matrix. You know, we can control the matrix because we are the divine. We manifest everything that, so we can control it. We can exist within the matrix, but we don't have to perform in the matrix. We don't have to be a part of it, but you're in it, but not of it.
Right.
You know, and you could be in it. It's cool to be in it. It's fun. I had my fun. I'm cool. I had my fun. I'm cool. Like, I used to be very political at one point. I went through these stages, in order for me to get out the matrix. because even the spiritual community is part of the matrix.
Right, right. And, listen,
Yeah, because it's
how,
like,
hmm
you know, um, everything that's like that's like commercialized and all this like commercial stuff. That's like, for me, it's not authentic. You
right,
know, it's not. It's just trying to sell something to you,
right.
and I think that's I don't I don't I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I just don't agree with it. You can't sell the divine. You can't sell what's divine. You can't. There's no price on that. You know, this is there for you, like, to access.
Right.
You know, it's
For
up to you.
me, I think the Matrix, and I'm still learning, still learning. So don't quote me, as Focus Frequency would say. Do not quote me. I
This
am
is your
still learning.
perspective.
This is my disclaimer. This is my perspective. So for me, the matrix is anything that is manipulative, anything that is controlling, anything that is fear based, anything that keeps us enslaved, anything that creates bondage. That to me is the matrix,
Mhm.
where we are created to or forced to rely on the government and their resources. That to me is the matrix. Um, how I see it, because I'm a very like visionary person, I see it as a freaking bubble, right? I see it as a bubble. This
Okay.
is how I see it when I think about it. I see it as a bubble. And every time we react and respond to a fear-based situation, when it comes to social media, when it comes to things in our lives, in our personal lives. So the ultimate goal, right, is to break out of the matrix, to break out of the system. It's a system. So what the matrix is a system.
Right.
Every time that we try to do something to break out of the system. So let's say, for instance, just give an example. Um, the main one, which is nobody wants to work, right? Everybody wants to, or they want to do what they love. Creators, creatives, we just want to do what we love. Some people are called to do the 9 to 5, and that's awesome. That is the life that you choose to live, right? But there's also others who choose to live in the life of freedom, where we're not slaving for a check for minimum wage, or we're not, wasting all of our time in serving a company or a person that isn't serving us, right? Mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. So the minute that we try to break out of that system where it's paycheck to paycheck, day to day living, we um, something happens, right? Something happens. So let's say, for instance, I'm trying to put the pieces together. So I see a bubble, right? I see this bubble, and okay, so let's say I'm trying to live a life of freedom, where I'm living and I'm working for myself.
Right.
But then a fear-based programming comes in and says, well, you might as well just stick to your job. And then all of a sudden I respond and I say, you know what, this is never going to work. To me, I enforce this matrix instead of deactivating this system that is looking to keep me programmed as a robot, right?
Mhm.
It keeps me when I instead of me reacting, I respond and say, no, I know that I am called to be free. I know that I can own my own business. Then we
Right.
begin to, I see it like a vision. Do you see it with me?
Mhm.
Then we
Yeah.
begin to restructure the programming and the matrix, and we start to form and create our own reality.
Right.
That's how I see the matrix and visionary. Now, I don't know if that answers her question, but to me, it's really just a system. It's a system. It's a programming that keeps us enslaved, so that we don't step into the divinity that we are called to be.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my definition.
That's
That-
that's a great way to put it. for sure. You know, um, my response to that, uh, you know how we go to work, we wake up, we go to work. It's the same mundane thing.
Mm-hmm.
Finding the divinity in the mundane,
And that's the
that
key.
changes everything.
Yes.
So now, you know, um, that changes everything. You wake up more grateful. Like, be grateful for your job. You know, be grateful for the people that's in your life at your job. Be grateful for everything.
Mm.
You know, even though we don't want to be a part of it, we want to escape this so-called matrix that everyone talks about. Um, I feel first you have to love the matrix in a way where you accept it, more like accept it. Like, you could love someone and not be around them.
Right.
You know, you could love the matrix but not be a part of it. So it's like, it's when you just lead with love, I feel like you're able to, you take away the challenges in your mind automatically.
Mm.
You know, because you're leading with love. You're not expecting it. You are love. So
Mm.
you already embody it. So you already, you escaping the matrix is simply just looking at your job or anything that's like the same repetitive thing, like looking at that from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I feel like that will take you to where you need to be a lot faster. It'll help,
Yes.
it'll help you, like, because you could still run a business while you're working your 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
You could still do it. It's up to you if you really wanna. It's how bad you want it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could still do it. And then when you finally reach that point, you leave the job.
Right.
You're not gonna you're not gonna just quit your job with no backup plan. Like, that's just because you want to be super spiritual. It doesn't work like that. You know, like, everything is like day to day progress, and one step at a time, one day at a time. It's just changing your perspective.
Right.
Um, you know, yeah, like, embrace it. This is what we're here to learn about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's master it.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Because ultimately we can't really
leave. You can't really
we can't,
escape it.
can't leave it. We can't break it. I wish we could because listen, we buy at dawn.
Yeah, but you
I'm
know what?
grabbing
You know what comes with that, right?
what?
You know what comes with that. You know,
What?
and it that comes with a lot of like war,
War. Yeah.
right? So are like, you gotta ask yourself, like, have a real conversation. Be careful what you ask for, you know,
Right.
because it'll come.
You did say that leading with love and practicing gratefulness. I think that is key, and Aisha agrees. It's a word, and I think that often we get frustrated, we get tired, we just want out, right? But that only opposes and kind of reinforces that reality when we begin to operate from the place of love and in gratitude. We begin to change the reality. We begin to change the how do you call it? The structure of our surroundings.
Right,
Um,
right.
again, I just see it. I see it in my eye. I see it like in my eyes, like the vision. Like as we practice gratitude and say, you know what, thank you for this job. That's where abundance really starts to flow, and it's easier said than done, though.
Hmm.
It really is easier said than done because in those moments of frustration, we really have to really train and reprogram our minds and our emotions to really pause and really find the divine in that moment. Really find that moment of gratitude. Find the, even if it's just one thing, even
Yeah,
if it's, you know,
you're moving forward like that. That's how you move forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't take the two steps back like how we used to do.
Right.
So you're moving forward with love, you know,
Right.
no matter what. No matter what situation you're put in, you know, half the time the people that want to hurt you or want to disrespect you or make you feel some type of way, deep down they really are in pain. They really didn't they're not healed.
Right.
You know, they're looking at you that way when you're showing progression, you know,
Right.
like, and they're gonna try to bring you down with them. Like that's part of it, and there's beauty in that. I laugh at it. I smile at it, like, you know,
Better.
instead of getting angry and want to be super tough,
Mm-hmm.
you know, why? You lost. They win because they brought you to that.
That's true.
They brought you to their level. That's where they want you.
Focus. This has been awesome. I feel like the conversation went completely and it was a little bit everywhere, but it's all connected, right?
It's all connected to the divinity and everything.
Yes. Now
Yeah.
you did have an announcement. Did you want to make that announcement?
Yeah. I'm dropping my first ever website.
Okay.
Um, and it's gonna have free music.
Okay.
I'm dropping
Awesome.
a mixtape called All Love Given 2, October 17th on my new website. Stay tuned. It will be out. And you're
Oh,
gonna exclusively listen to my music only on my website. You're not
sweet.
gonna find it in streaming platforms. I'm done with that.
Awesome.
Those days are
Congratulations.
over. Thank you. Thank
That
you.
is you breaking out of the matrix. Look at you.
Exactly.
I saw the divine in that. You see what I'm saying?
That's great. That's awesome. And you know, the way you put that out, I didn't even think that far. You
Yeah.
got that off. Yeah. I didn't mean like, you know, I just like I be coming up with these ideas and it's like, you know, I need to put it to use. Like it's been a long time. You know, I've been making music for about 20 years and
Wow.
I never really put myself out there, you know, till now, like recently. I had to do the work. I had to do the work before I could present myself, you know.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy for you. Send me the
And,
link or give me, I'll share. I'll be happy to share it for you. And
yeah.
I would
October 17th.
October 17th.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and I have it ready. It's gonna be
All
cool.
right. Thank you so much, Focus. This has been awesome. I hope that the listeners enjoyed. I will be doing this. I want to say every 2 weeks, I'll be having different people on and talking about things like this, spirituality.
Yeah, anytime. You could always holler at me. We could talk about. I love these conversations. You know, I live for this. I'm very passionate about spirituality and really getting to know who I am. Like through this conversation, I learned, you know, and I learned from you. I learned from myself, and I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to express myself. You know,
Of
I
course.
really, really, truly appreciate that. You know,
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
fire. I wish they had.
I know. I need. If I was in the studio, I would have had like a round of applause, some sound
Yo,
effects.
salute to everybody who tapped in.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. We're gonna take it to the next level. You know, where this it doesn't stop here. We
Right.
continue, we keep going, we keep expanding, we learn from each other. You know, don't be afraid to hit me up, follow me, you know, Focus Frequency. We got music, a lot of things happening. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I want to shout out a couple people. You know, shout out to my boy Kaimo. You know, he really like he was one of those guys that believed in me.
Mm.
You know, like he was the one like yo, Focus, you special. You special.
Mm.
I don't think you really know, you know?
Wow.
And you know, and being that, like, to get that from him, it meant the world, because no one has ever said that to me.
Mm.
And I've been around a lot of people that we've been doing the same thing, this and that. And I've always been the one to encourage people and push people and, yo, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's go, let's go, let's go. Like it's time to expand ourselves. Like, I was always pushing, I always show love, and he was the only person,
Mm.
you know, and he wasn't even a part of the circle,
Wow.
so that says a lot. I need to shout him out because he's that guy, you know. That's real shit.
Yay.
Yeah,
Sound effects.
I needed that because I just had so much music. I was sitting on it because I felt like nobody was listening, even my closest people.
He saw the divine in you.
Yeah,
That's dope.
that was dope. Yeah, fire. Thank you, Jovanna. Great show, great show. We could do this again. Whenever you get everything settled, let me know. If
Okay.
I need to fly out, I would. You know,
Thank you. I
make
truly
a make a
appreciate
real get a real interview going. It'd be nice,
it.
face to
Yeah,
face.
no, that's the goal. I mean, I usually don't ask anybody for anything because I feel like the divine God is gonna do it. But if anyone ever feels like they want to sow into the vision, into the podcast, so I can upgrade and get better equipment and really, do this thing,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
hit the link tree because it's
yeah,
there.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
But yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Aisha, for tuning in. And I will be back on the 19th with someone else by the name of Christian Oliver, and we'll be talking about ego death. So tap into that.
Okay. I'll be tuned in.
Cool. All right, you have a good night, okay?
All right, you too. Thank you.
All right, bye.